What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel. Before we get into this next video, I'd like to make a special announcement. In April 2025, I will be launching a new Patreon. That's right. We can do things over there that we can't do on them folks' platform. So if you've been a supporter here, you've been a subscriber here, you rocked out with me here, I expect to see you over yonder at the Storefront Church. We opening up in April. We're gonna have a whole lot going on there that we can't do here. For example, we'll be able to chat directly over there in our private chat rooms on Patreon. We can talk about things that we couldn't talk about here on them folks' platform. We can have private conversations. We can have public conversations. I want to be more available to the people who really rock out with me. To that end, not only will I put exclusive videos over there that won't be available on YouTube, but we'll also have exclusive live streams, y'all. That's right. I'm gonna go live more often in the Patreon. So if you've rocked out with me here, if you felt what I've been doing here, if you're picking up what I'm putting down over here on them folks' platform, well, it's gonna be greater over there. So I hope you rock with me. As the old folks say, we can go another further over there. So don't meet me there, beat me there. I'll leave a link in the description. Y'all go sign up. Ain't no charge for nothing right now. I'm just collecting information and emails and getting everything set up for April 2025. Y'all meet me on Patreon. And now let's get to the video.
César Eliseo Sotomayor.
A federal judge temporarily blocking President Trump's executive order to fast-track the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members out of the U.S.
Matt Finn is in West Palm Beach, and he joins us now with the latest. Matt, this seems unbelievable. Break it down for us. Explain to us why we want Tren de Aragua back in the United States.
Yeah, so this judge ordered planes full of suspected terrorists to turn around to the United States. President Trump's proclamation of this seldom used Alien Enemies Act of 1796 says all Venezuelan citizens 14 years or older who are suspected Tren de Aragua gang members cannot become citizens of the United States. But yesterday, the ACLU filed a lawsuit claiming the Alien Enemies Act could be used to deport any Venezuelan in the U.S., regardless of whether they are affiliated with TDA. So a chief U.S. District Judge, James Boasberg of the D.C. Circuit, agreed with the ACLU and went against President Trump, granting a temporary restraining order preventing the deportation of 5 Venezuelans yesterday who were already in U.S. custody. It is unclear right now if the 2 planes that were ordered returned by the judge have done so. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi responding, writing, tonight a D.C. trial judge supported Tren de Aragua terrorists over the safety of Americans. This order disregards well-established authority regarding President Trump's power, and it puts the public and law enforcement at risk. The Department of Justice is undeterred in its efforts to work with the White House and Department of Homeland Security and all of our partners to stop this invasion and make America safe again. Now, as the number of illegal migrant crossings and illegal gotaways continues to drastically plunge under the Trump administration, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem posted this video online showing gates at a border wall closing behind her.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, what we seem to have here in America in 2025 is a constitutional crisis by many accounts, especially mainstream media accounts. Well, you have a circumstance where Donald Trump has won the presidency. He is the CEO of America, y'all, the chief executive. He runs the executive branch of government. And I'm not trying to give y'all a civics lesson, but understand that there are 3 branches of government. If Donald Trump controls the executive branch and the legislature controls the legislative branch and the judicial controls the judicial branch, well, what happens when Donald Trump controls executive? His Republican allies control the legislative. Well, you guessed it. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. You're right. That means that the Democrats, his opposition, only has the judicial left to oppose him. And that's what we are finding in 2025. Only 60 days into the new administration, Donald Trump is wrecking shop. He's like a bull in a china shop. He's running things in the way that we wanted him to. We voted for this. A lot of y'all saying, oh, is this what you wanted? Yes. Yes, it's exactly what we wanted. We wanted this and more. We waiting on the next level. But see, in Donald Trump 1.0, he faced some opposition, not only from his own party, from Paul Ryan and the Rhinos. He controlled the executive branch, but he had people that were insurgents in the executive branch that fought against him. He had people in the legislative branch who fought against him. And when Democrats took control, well, they impeached him not once, but twice. They used the legislative branch to work against the executive branch. They used their control, their judges that were in place in the judicial branch to work against the Trump administration. So then you had Donald Trump on this little island of the executive branch. And then you had the Democrats who impeached him twice from the legislative branch, the judicial branch that would not protect him. That's 2 on 1. Well, now flip the script in 2025. You got Donald Trump 2.0 with Elon Musk as the best buddy, controlling the executive branch. Now you got the legislative branch who is on board. All the Democrats have is the judicial branch, and they seem to be running to it as their refuge to try to do everything they can with these whack district court DC judges who are trying to do everything to stifle the Trump administration. Yo, this judge on the DC circuit said, hey, I know you shipping those terrorists off to their home country. Some of them, I know you're shipping some of them off to El Salvador to serve prison sentences in one of the worst prisons or the best prisons, depending on how you look at it, in the world. I need you to turn those planes around in mid-air, in mid-flight, send them back. We want those terrorists back on American soil. Yeah, the judge, y'all, in the judicial branch ruled that. Well, I need that judge to get on a kite, get on an air balloon, and get up in the sky and turn those planes around himself. Because if you ain't got the power to enforce those rulings, I suggest you not make them, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am. Because this administration is just going to ignore you, and you are making a fool out of the entire judiciary by putting these kinds of rulings out here. Now, I agree with some people who have opined on the X platform. I saw them in the last 24 hours who said, no, this is John Roberts' fault. This is Amy Coney Barrett's fault because they ruled just a couple weeks ago and gave the district court a battery in their back, made them feel like, oh, they could do something because they ruled with the liberals on the Supreme Court. Well, maybe when this gets back up to the Supreme Court, they would have learned a lesson and will rule differently because this is foolishness that a little circuit court judge will think that he can make a little ruling in his tiny little district that impedes the executive orders of the president, even when he enacts centuries-old laws against insurgents in this country. And look, I don't care how you want to define an insurgent, but when you got people who are coming to this country who declare themselves as gang members beholden to cartels, and they are shuffling drugs into this country that are killing Americans by hundreds of thousands. Y'all, they are taking over the country. They are at war with this country without firing a shot. Because you're also stressed out that you need to take drugs, you need to take pills, you need to sniff things and inject things. Well, they're putting something in those things that are killing you by the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands, based on your proclivities to disconnect from reality. Yeah, it's problematic, but it is in fact an invasion. So the executive branch has every right to declare that we are, as a country, being invaded. And these invaders need to be shipped out of this country. If we're going to make it great again, let's just be honest with each other. If we're going to make this situation great again, but we got to get the poison out of the well. We need to send them either back to where they came from or back to Nayib Bukele, who says, hey, bro, I got a prison. I got beds for them. I can hold them. Let's negotiate a good price. Can we work something out? Donald Trump said, bro, what you going to charge me? Bukele said, here's the price. Let's get it done. Donald Trump said, deal. I'm sending you everybody you can handle and probably more than you can handle. Listen, if you got a little spillover, it's okay. We got Guantanamo over there. We'll use that too. But we're getting them out of this country. Why? Because the goal is to make America great again. And you can't be great if you got enemy insurgents on American soil.
The Alien Enemies Act dates all the way back to 1798. It's only been used 3 times in U.S. history. The last time was during World War II when Japanese Americans were sent to internment camps. That move, of course, already sparking some legal challenges.
And one of those challenges has already worked. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo joins us now with those late-breaking details. Tim.
Jory, Michelle, it is clear the U.S. is not in a war right now. This isn't necessarily a loophole, but maybe kind of a workaround from the Trump administration. Clearly, they're making some moves, trying to claiming the U.S. is being invaded at this point by Venezuelan gangs, and that's why they're invoking this rarely used act. But within 2 hours of this announcement this afternoon, a federal judge blocked it with a temporary restraining order. Now, the White House claims the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion against the United States. And yes, while there have been arrests of TDA gang members in Colorado and in New York in the last year, many view this move as an attempt by the Trump administration to accelerate deportations. A federal judge this afternoon shut it down before it really ever began, even ordering planes that were carrying non-citizens that are literally in the air right now to turn around and return to the U.S. Even before the Trump administration announced it would invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, there were signs this was coming, and there were questions about the legality.
It's never been used in this circumstance before. The terms of the statute require that we're at war or that there is an invasion. Many of the executive orders have used the word invasion, I think, in part to prep for the possibility of using the statute in order to deport people. But you'd have to have a judge who agrees that there is an invasion under the statutory definition and that we are looking at enemy nationals.
So this temporary restraining order issued by the judge just minutes ago puts those deportations on hold just for 14 days. ICE will keep those non-citizens in custody until the lawsuit makes its way through the courts. The ACLU were the ones who actually brought this to the attention of the courts, claiming those Venezuelans being deported are actually being sent to prisons in El Salvador, not their home country. The Trump administration, not surprisingly, already responding, claiming the president's Article 2 powers give him the power to unilaterally deport anyone who poses, quote, a significant threat to the U.S., clearly something that'll go through the courts for the next days and weeks to come.
Y'all, if you understand what is going on with the courts, we ain't trying to cast no aspersions over here on them folks' platform, but you understand it's always a Berg. It's always a Stein or Steen, however you pronounce it, tomato. It's always a Horowitz or a Fishman or an Eisen who's put in position to make these kinds of decisions. Y'all, I'll let y'all deal with that on your own time. You figure out what that is about. But listen, came across this story that talks about it. Shout out to Nicholas Riccardi, who wrote this story. It says, the Trump administration has transferred hundreds of immigrants to El Salvador, even as a federal judge issued an order temporarily barring the deportations under an 18th century wartime declaration targeting Venezuelan gang members. Officials said Sunday. That's today. Flights were in the air at the time of the ruling. Y'all, the planes were in the sky to just say, turn them around, bring all of those gang members back, bring all of those drug dealers back. U.S. District Judge James E. Boasberg issued an order Saturday blocking the deportations, but lawyers told him there were already 2 planes with immigrants in the air. One headed for El Salvador, the other headed for Honduras. Boasberg verbally ordered the planes to be turned around. We gonna need you to stand on the runway, Judge, and enforce these orders you putting in. Planes are already in the sky. We gonna need you to go up there, put on a jetpack, get up there and turn them things around mid-flight. If you can't do it, shut your mouth. Sit in that courtroom, bang your little gavel while America disregards your rulings. Boasberg verbally ordered the planes to be turned around, but they apparently were not. And he did not include the directive in his written order. Oopsie, too late. Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele, a Trump ally who agreed to house about 300 immigrants for a year at a cost of $6 million in his country's prisons, wrote on the social media site X above an article about Boasberg's ruling. Y'all, Bukele posted on X, he said, oopsie, too late. I wonder how that judge felt about that. Because what you have done is reduced your circuit court to being ignored by people who really running things in the country. You sit over there in your little judicial branch, in your little district court, in your little district. Well, the big boys ignore you and your rulings. Bang your little gavel. That post was recirculated by White House Communications Director Stephen Chung. I know I reposted it on X. If you follow me on there, you'll see it. I reposted it because it was hilarious. Not only are the planes in mid-flight, but the president of El Salvador, I wish he had more time, y'all. He about to term out in El Salvador. I hope they find a way to use him in that country because he is a staunch ally of America. But that man took to his X platform, his social media, and said, oopsie, too late, nothing we can do for you. Bang your little gavel, feel better, cry more. Story continues. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who negotiated an earlier deal with Bukele to house immigrants, posted on the site, we sent over 250 alien enemy members of Tren de Aragua. which El Salvador has agreed to hold in their very good jails at a fair price that will also save our taxpayer dollars. Y'all, everybody with this administration is on board. This is Trump policy. He's getting rid of those who have infiltrated this country, those who have invaded this country. Yo, I saw a story the other day that said in a certain area of this country, due to ICE raids, they collected 81 people who are all illegal immigrants in this country. They found drugs. They found guns. And I'm wondering to myself as I read through this article, what is really going on in this country? What has been allowed to take place in this country where these things are happening right up under our nose? Illegal immigrants. You ain't got no right to be here, but you got guns. Where'd you get them? But you got drugs. Where'd you get them? Who you selling them to? Whose lives are you ruining by distributing these things throughout the country? What are you using those guns for? Who you robbing? Who you shooting? Who you killing in this country that you have no right to be in? Well, we thank God for Donald Trump just because of that, because we can't expect this country to be great again if we got those criminal elements that are allowed, permitted to operate under the radar. Seems like the last administration didn't care. Seems like the last administration authorized some of these activities because it's been proven in the last few days that they've lied about the numbers of immigrants that they were allowed into this country. They've lied about the ICE arrest in this country. No, you had an administration that was an enemy of this country. Now you got a different situation. You got an executive who has full control of the executive branch. You have a legislature who is on board with the executive branch, fully part of the operation in the legislature. Cool, cool, cool. You got executive, you got legislative. Now there's only one branch that the opposition, that the Democrats can use to try to put a stop to things that are going forth in this administration. What is that? That is the judicial. And that's where you find radical judges who have been appointed by Obama, who have been appointed by, well, I can't even say they've been appointed by Biden because so many things that were approved by Biden were signed by an auto pen. And we know that he's suffering from dementia. We don't even know if Biden knew where his signature was going or if he signed it personally. We don't even know if he knew what he was signing. We don't even know if he approved of some of these judges that were nominated and confirmed under his presidency. I hope someone investigates it. I hope someone finds out the truth.
deseo ser tomada.
And there you have it, y'all. A constitutional crisis by all accounts. People on both sides of the aisle, right and left, are calling it a constitutional crisis. Well, if it is a crisis, I think being in control of 2 of the 3 branches of government should allow the right side to do the right thing. Even if you have to cut off the judicial branch and say, hey, the executive and the legislative are going to take care of this. We can do this together. We are unified. We are determined. We are dedicated to America and American society. We understand that there are enemies overseas who want to infiltrate this country, who have infiltrated this country on every level of government. They're already here. The enemy is already within the gates. Y'all think it's a game. The enemy is already here. The enemy is already taking action against the American people and American society without even firing a shot. It is up to Donald Trump 2.0 to get in there and wreck shop. And he's been doing a bumper job, as the old mothers would say. In the first 60 days of his administration, we expect him to keep going. I hope that he ramps it up. I hope that the legislative branch turns up the heat on some of these investigations. Hope they impeach some of these circuit court judges who need to be thrown out. I hope everybody ramps it up because, yes, it is a constitutional crisis. But to the victor goes the spoils, and you are in a position now to be the victor of this constitutional crisis. Take advantage of it, my friends. That's what we voted for. That's why you're there. That's why you are there at this moment in time, for such a time as this, to do the right thing by this country. Let me know what you think about this. And don't forget to join us over there on that Patreon. Y'all, we going to get it in. We going to have some heavy conversations like this here. We're going to discuss the path forward for America. Yeah. Some things we can't say on them folks' platforms, some things we can't do over here, we're going to get them done over there. So join me on Patreon. We're going to get it in. And don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.